One thing Donald Trump has been doing on the campaign trail, he's been raising awareness over the crime wave of migrants. They're out here doing robberies and recently you know, taking out Laken Riley. That was an illegal immigrant from Venezuela. And we know what happened to the New York City cops and just a rash of burglaries and robberies and people getting beat up, cell phones being snatched. So Trump has been out there talking about this on the campaign trail, and they're saying it's not really supported in the data. But my question is, how recent is this data? Because we have been watching the stories and looking at everything that's out here about that crime. Now, in the beginning, some of these mayors were not admitting it, but many of them are starting to admit that the crime is going out of control. So let's get into this story. So, one thing we know, Donald Trump has been talking about these illegals coming in here and committing crimes actually far back, even before he was president the first time. So, Trump's claims of a migrant crime wave are not supported by national data. So, when Donald Trump speaks at the southern border in Texas on Thursday, he is talking about the crime that's happening. And there's no doubt it's definitely happening. So, now they're saying, he's also talking about what has happened in New York, especially to the NYPD police officers. And Trump has gone on to say, they go in, they stab people, they hurt people, they shoot people. It's a whole new form, and they have gangs now that are making our gangs look like small potatoes. Trump has undoubtedly tapped into a rising anger over crimes that are being done by undocumented migrants that have gained national attention. Most recently, the killing of Laken Riley in Georgia last week after an undocumented Venezuelan was arrested and charged in her murder. And much reported fights between New York City officers and a group of teen migrants. According to a Pew poll, 57% of Americans said a large number of migrants are seeking to enter the country and they're anticipating that the crime will get worse. Republicans at 85% overwhelmingly say that the migrant surge leads to increased crime in the US. A far smaller share of Democrats, 31%, say the same. The poll found that 63% of Democrats say it does not have much impact. Now, remember, these are politicians. This is not the general public. But despite the former president's campaign rhetoric, experts say the data on major city police departments show that despite several terrifying high profile incidents, there's no evidence that migrant driven crime in the US has increased. That won't change the way Donald Trump talks about illegal immigrants in his bid to return to the White House, as he argues that President Joe Biden's immigration policies are making Americans less safe. And they are. They are. There's a lot of people that don't feel safe being around those illegals. So he's right about that. Trump says voters should hold Biden personally responsible for every crime committed by an undocumented immigrant. You know what? That's exactly what I said in my last few videos when I talked about crime that was going on or some incidents that were going on, especially up in New York. So I agree with him on that. And Biden should be held responsible because he was the one that wanted to open the floodgates. An NBC News review of 2024 crime data from cities targeted by Texas Operation Lone Star, which buses or flies illegals from the border to major cities, shows overall crime levels dropping in those cities and have received the most migrants. Overall crime is down year over year in Philadelphia, Chicago, Denver, New York, and Los Angeles. Crime has risen in Washington, D.C., but local officials don't attribute it to the spike in illegal immigrants. This is a public perception problem. It's always based upon these kind of flashing points where immigrants commit a crime. Yeah, it makes me wonder when these analysts do this, how close to these migrants do these analysts live you know what I mean? Sometimes these people that are so far removed from this kind of stuff are the ones that are reporting on it. I'm just saying. So there's no evidence for there being any relationship between somebody's immigration status and their involvement in crime. So anyway, they notes that these emotional tolls these incidents have taken, how they can inform public perception. They can be really egregious acts of criminality that really draws a lot of attention, that involves someone who happens to be an immigrant. You know what? I know where he's going, but it is going to be high because look, Venezuela admitted they let a lot of their inmates go. Now, they're not gonna come here they're coming here and doing the same thing they did in Venezuela. So and he doesn't even touch on in this article, they don't even touch on the fact that they let their prisoners go and made them come here to America, and just the way I was reading it, they didn't have much of an option. They either come to America or remain in prison in Venezuela. So quite naturally, they're gonna leave out of there and come to America. So, Democrat cities do not document when crimes are committed by illegal immigrants. Okay, so if you're saying that the Democratic cities do not document the crimes, then how do you know crime is down? I'm just saying, they're saying they don't document these crimes. So then how do you conclude that the crime is down? You're not really getting the statistics on how many crimes they're doing. Because they don't want American citizens to know the truth about the dangerous impact Joe Biden's open border is having on communities. So they're saying that these Democratic cities are purposely not recording the crimes that are being committed by these illegal immigrants. Then there's no way you can say that it's down. There's no way you can come to that conclusion. Nevertheless, Americans know migrant crime is serious and growing and is a threat. The murder, rape, and abuse of innocent citizens at the hands of illegal immigrants is one too many. Trump has been pushing the argument that illegal immigrants bring crime since he launched his campaign back in 2015, often featuring his rallies, family members of those who were killed by undocumented immigrants who had been drinking and driving. And his arguments are not new. Opponents of illegal immigration have long tried to make the case that migrants bring crime. So the national data, especially pertaining to undocumented immigrants, is notoriously incomplete. The national data comes in piecemeal and can only be evaluated when the annual data is released. How does these experts conclude that everything is down? What they're saying is not making any sense. Okay? I mean, I'm just saying. Y'all gonna have to tell me what you think about this one because it's kind of contradictory when you get to the end of the article where they say they're not even documenting the crimes that these illegals are committing. And my question is, what's the reason on why you're not committing crimes that are occurring on American soil? You know? But y'all, please tell me what you think about this video. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace, family.